Welcome back, everyone. I'm glad you are here. I'm glad you are coming. Yes, several of you are coming to our podcast, Courageous Leadership with Virginia Prodan. I can see it. And I'm so glad that you are here because we have a very, very special subject to talk about. And by the way, for those of you who don't know me, I'm Virginia Prodan. I am an international human rights attorney, a speaker, and author of my memoir, Saving My Assassin, published by Tyndale House Publisher. Describes my life in communist, socialist, and communist Romania as I defended Christians and human rights cases, and here in America as an ally attorney with Allies Defender Freedom. You can find the book at virginiaprodanbooks.com, and you can buy there. I will sign it for you. You will learn a lot about freedom and lack of freedom. For those of you who are new here, we have our podcast Wednesday and Saturday at 10 o'clock. We love to have you. You can subscribe to our podcast for free. Just subscribe there and you will receive notice or every time we have a new podcast. And we hope that you will share the podcast with others. The subject of our podcast today is religious freedom in America. I have to say, 30 years ago, more than 30 years ago, when I was exiled from socialist communist Romania to United States of America as a political refugee, and I had the honor and privilege to meet President Ronald Reagan. I never thought in my wildest dreams that one day I will be talking about religious freedom in America, because during President Ronald Reagan's presidency, and even before, but during his presidency, religious freedom flourished. And it was nothing but the desire of people to honor God and glorify Him and share the gospel with people all over the world. Well, in the last 30 years or so, I have been watching America and many Americans turning their back to God, and especially with the last administration, fearfully trying to submit to the government, to replace God with worshiping the government and the leader. And it's frightening, because I know that God will not share His glory with anyone, that God will bless a country when people honor and glorify Him. And America was blessed because honor and glorify the Lord. So it's time for us to turn our face to God, to repent and ask for forgiveness and glorify and magnify Him. We are grateful that we have a president that wants to honor God. We are grateful for the fact that many Americans understood that America was going the wrong way, and they decided to re-elect President Donald Trump. He's a good person. I voted for him, no question about that. I will vote for him on first, second, and a third time. But he is not God. He is used by God to do things. And we all can be used by God to do amazing things. He performed miracles in our life as long as we listen to Him, as long as we don't take credit for what God has done in our lives. So, for that reason, I would like to share with you the fact that President Trump signed several executive orders that will benefit religious freedom in America. Shortly after he took office on Monday, President Trump signed a multitude of executive orders repealing the former administration promotions of radical gender ideology, ending the weaponization of government against the religious group and pro-life Americans, and safeguarding free speech. Those are very, very important executive orders that everybody needs to know. Everybody needs to share them with others that don't know, and also to act upon them to make sure that we understand that there is freedom in America, and we have not only to know them, but we to act on them. So those are the 5 major executive orders that will impact religious freedom that I want to, freedom and liberty in America and all over the world, because when America is free, the whole world it's different. The number 1 order is restoring freedom of speech and ending federal censorship. This order affirms that the policy of the United States is to protect free speech. The order calls for an end of censorship of protected speech, which include Christian religious viewpoint or any religious viewpoint. It directs the Attorney General to investigate and report the activities of former administration that may have violated Americans' free speech and make recommendations for appropriate actions to correct those violations. This is very, very important. So if you were a victim of this, take actions, make sure you understand what this executive order gives you the freedom, and do it. There are even right now many cases with different groups. I'm part of Alliance Defender Freedom, but many other groups too have cases where Christians were persecuted. There are some cases, just to mention 1 or 2, and the last in May, the House Judiciary Committee published a report dealing how the former administration, White House, coerced large companies, just to name some of them, Facebook, Google, Amazon, or censored books, videos, posts, and other content online. And the majority of them were religious. Big tech targeted conservative users and religious messages for censorship. Faith-based organizations and individuals routinely had their content removed or shadow banned. Just to give you an example that I am aware of, there are so many of them. For example, the Babylon Bee, a satiric site, or Not the Bee, a Christian news website, were hit hard online with censorship. We all know that Meta, the parent company of Facebook and Instagram, recently announced that it will end its controversial fact-checking program and move towards policy more focused on free speech. So if they decided to do that, how much we have to be aware. And again, if you're a victim of do whatever it takes, contact us and we will help you in what you need to do, because your rights need to be restored. Number 2, ending the weaponization of the federal government. This is so important. I cannot emphasize to you that many times waking up in the morning and hear the news and see what the former administration was doing to Donald Trump or other people that they consider their opponents, I was thinking this is so similar with what I experienced in socialist and communist Romania. And this needs to end. So this order says that the Biden administration weaponize legal forces against political opponents, including parents speaking out at school and a board meeting. In fact, many of them will consider um, domestic terrorists. I cannot believe that the government can do that when the parents is against the school that will promote books for young kids that promote sex, gender changes, and so forth, and many, many others. This order directs the Attorney General to investigate and report on any Biden administration action that may constitute weaponization of the federal government and take action or appropriate action to correct past misconduct. President Trump nominated Pam Bondi as his attorney general, and he pledged, if confirmed, to end the weaponization of the Justice Department, which the Biden administration used to target religious Americans. Evidence show that Biden's DOJ repeatedly went after people of faith. A congressional report released in 2023 confirmed that the FBI, the agent of the DOJ, spy on Americans' people, on Americans' Catholics, on Americans' churches. Again, this reminds me the fact that under dictator Nicolae Ceausescu, as we went to church, we never knew who was by our side. If we had a real brother in Christ, a new brother in Christ, or a spy. And what the former administration did, spying on Americans in church or in any other places, is absolutely beyond imagination, beyond what America stands for. So if you're a victim of those circumstances, please let us know. We will be happy to help you in any way possible or guide you to the right place that can help you. But this needs to be corrected if you were a victim. Okay, number 3. Okay. Is defending women from gender ideology extremists and restoring biological truth to the federal government. You know, the federal government and the former administration did something that we never experienced in our life in America. But this order says that the Trump administration will defend women's rights and protect freedom of conscience by affirming that women are biological female and men are biological male. It's so important that in many ways the former government and even the media lie many times to us, saying that compared with other administration, Trump administration or other administration, or even other country, women have so many rights in America. But what they did with these gender ideology extremists led men to compete in women's sports and so forth. They actually gradually apply the socialist ideology in America. The socialist ideology says you submit to the government and you do what the government is telling you. We men are in charge and you women will do whatever you need to do. You will be submissive to us, but they use it in a form of gender ideology extremists. You can be in the military and be a man and dress in military, but in a skirt, you be a woman, and so forth. Again, this order calls for a large number of guidance documents to be um, rescinded, helping Americans who are targeted by expressing views consistent against their religious belief about human sexuality. And again, if you are a victim or you're a victim of that, please let us know. We are more than happy to help you, not only to let you know the new situation of freedom in America, or religious freedom in America, but also to help you and guide you on what you need to do. Rasmussen survey found that 71 of United States adults agree there are only two genders, male and female. That's all. Number 4, ending radical and wasteful government DEI programs and preferencing. This order calls for the termination of all discrimination programs, including illegal DEI and diversity, equality, inclusion, and accessibility. That mandates policy, programs, preferences, and activities in federal government. The DEI policy established by the former administration are nothing but equal and inclusion. That agenda of the former administration, the DEI policy, had led to exclusion, alienation, and even cancellation of people of faith. These policies advance an agenda to excommunicate certain privileged white people, religious people, classes of citizens, including, like I said, religious employees, if they are not open to affirm and comply with the viewpoint of the government that violates their religious belief and reality. Right now, there are still many cases where doctors, airplane pilots, or stewardess were fired were fired because of their religious belief. The Equality Act and its impact on women and people of faith was disastrous. Their decision to fire workers for blank violation of state or federal civil rights law to discriminate against someone in the workplace because of their religious belief or expression is outrageous and needs to be stopped. And we am so glad that President Trump signed this order that will end the radical and wasteful government DEI program and preferential Equal Act. It's time for people of all ages, all color, all origin, religious, to be treated equal and to have the freedom to express their religious faith at home, at work, in the community. Number 5, it's the executive order rescinding Biden Presidential Commission on the Supreme Court of the United States of America. Our founding fathers, guided by the hands of God, created a land of freedom and land of prosperity for all people in the United States for a very good reason, and that is that we all can benefit and can live a life of prosperity, and the government is the one that we elect, and there are only three branches of the government. Well, this order officially ends the Biden administration's commission to recommend reform the Supreme Court of the United States of America. The Biden administration, from the beginning, focused pour on millions of dollars and did everything in their power to control the Supreme Court of United States of America. They wanted not only us, but the Supreme Court of America to listen to them. If you remember, one time, President Biden was so furious and so disrespectful in his comments to the Supreme Court of the United States. Just from the podium, just looking at the Supreme Court, he was very disrespectful because he believed that this commission and everybody behind him will succeed in controlling the Supreme Court of America. But this order, signed by President Trump, officially ends the Biden administration commission to recommend and reform the Supreme Court of America. The Supreme Court Commission was funded by the Biden and focused from the beginning of this administration, Biden administration, on how they will change the court to their gain and power. That was not question or problem of if it's needed, but a question of how they will change to gain power of the Supreme Court of America. It is important for us, and it's so important that this Trump presidential official order ends officially the Biden administration commission to reform the Supreme Court of the United States of America. We have three branches of the government, and as Americans, we agree and we are so grateful that President Trump ordered this commission to end, to have no influence and no work anymore. It is important for us, and we wanted to take the time to do this. I also want to tell you that President Donald Trump signed an executive order pardoning 23 anti-abortion rights activists on Thursday. What I was talking about, the 5, was on Monday, but on Thursday, one day before he expected to address thousands of anti-abortion rights demonstration in their annual march in Washington, D.C., he signed an executive order pardoning 23 anti-abortion rights activists. Many of them, or the majority of them, were older people, grandma, and signing this order. He said 23 people were persecuted. They should not have been persecuted. Trump signed this order in the Oval Office ceremony Thursday, and say nothing that many of them are noting that many of them, like I said, are elderly. This is a great honor to sign it. They will be very happy, and I'm sure that they were very happy to receive this pardon from President of United States Donald Trump, and receive back their freedom. Many of them were in prison. Some of them were under house arrest with leg monitor. They were not allowed to leave the house. The former administration did whatever was possible on their power to attack religious freedom in America. It's important for us. Our mission is to educate American people about the dangers of what the former administration did, um, and all the reforms that they adopted. And they even put people in jail promoting those. And we also want to expose that the court reform of the United States was nothing else than power grab, a threat to the rule of law and judicial independence. All those five um, presidential orders are very important for people in America to notice them. Again, if you're a victim, let us know. We are here to help you. We also want to tell you, please share those with others. We are thankful for your efforts to listen, to share, and because as we know, a remarkable 87% of American people clearly rejected those proposals to change the United States Supreme Court, change all those five um, things that the administration has done, and they're not the only one. If we talk about immigration, if we talk about several others, but on this day we talk about religious freedom. So it's not only important to know that you have religious freedom, that if you were a victim, you can act on and restore your freedom, but you also have to share those with others. We are grateful for your participation. I hope you share this with others. You will contact us and let us know how we can help you, and exercise your faith wherever you are, at home, in your school, in your community, in college. Contact your congressman, senator, even the president, and thank them when they do what they were supposed to do, and write them when you think they don't do what they're supposed to do, and protect religious rights. Until next time, we want to thank you so very much for your contribution, for your love, and don't forget to subscribe. Until next time, God bless you, and practice your freedom. There is a new day in America, on a new day where religious freedom is reaffirmed in America. Act on your freedom. May God bless you.